You know, it is said that approximately 250 years before Alexander the Great began his world conquest, God provided Daniel with a glimpse into the future. And he, of course, was a prophet. And this was important to Daniel and his people, as God had also told them that they would return to their land and he would take care of them through the coming tumultuous times. Kingdoms rise and fall, but God holds the future, and his word stands. And when it's talking about, then a goat came from the west, Daniel 8:5, with a single horn between its eyes, the horn represents the king Alexander. The goat killed the ram and became very great, but at the height of his power, his large horn was broken off. In Daniel 8:8, a prediction of Alexander's untimely death in Daniel's vision. The single horn is replaced with 4 new horns, which are 4 kingdoms that will emerge from his nation, but will not have the same power. In Daniel 8:22, the 4 new kingdoms are mentioned again in Daniel 11:4, which says that Alexander's empire, will be broken up and parceled out toward the 4 winds of heaven. It will not go to his descendants, nor will it have the power he exercised. These passages describe 2 centuries in advance precisely what happened to Alexander and his empire. So it's really exciting and interesting that Alexander the Great's father, his tomb has been located after remains ID'd using X-ray analysis. And this is something that just happened. I posted in the New York Post and by Bree Stimson, Fox News. And it says, Alexander the Great's remains have been identified in a Greek tomb using X-ray analysis, a new study says. The new international yet controversial study states that archaeologists previously had the wrong tomb identified in Vergina, Greece, as containing Alexander the Great's father, Philip II of Macedon, according to Live Science. And the site contains 3 4th century BCE tombs. The study was first published in the December issue of Journal of Archaeological Science Reports, along with Alexander the Great's father, Philip II of Macedon. The researchers said that the 3 tombs also contain Alexander's half-brother, King Philip III, Archaeology, and his teenage son, Alexander IV. In ancient times, Vergina was Macedonia's original capital, known as Agi. The archaeologists took X-rays of the skeletons in the tombs and compared them to detailed descriptions about the Macedonian royals, including height, weight, injuries, and physical anomalies according to Live Science. Alexander's father's remains were identified by a knee injury that was consistent with the historic evidence of the lameness of King Philip II. The study said he was located in what is known as Tomb 1 rather than Tomb 2, which he had previously thought to have been in. And according to the study, the Vergina site was first discovered in the 1970s, but debate has ensued about which royals were buried in each tomb. And the remains of Alexander the Great's father have been identified in a Greek tomb using X-ray analysis. Antonius Bartsiokas, the study's lead author, told Live Science the research was like a fascinating detective's ancient story. Bartsiokas is an anthropology and paleoanthropology professor at Democritus University of Thrace in Komotini, Greece. The researchers located King Philip III, Aurelius, Alexander the Great's half-brother and successor, in tomb number 2. His skeletal evidence and the pattern of his cremated bones have been shown to be consistent with the circumstances of the death of King Aridius and his wife. Bartsiokas said, according to Live Science, tomb was very small and poor tomb, and tomb was very big and rich. This ties with the historical evidence that Macedonia was in a state of bankruptcy when Alexander started his campaign and very rich when he died. And this is consistent with tomb 1 belonging to Philip II and tomb 2 belonging to his son Aridius. Philip II is believed to be interred with his wife and baby. Bartsiokas added, this was the only newborn in the Macedonian dynasty to have died shortly after it was born. The age of the female skeleton at 18 years old was determined based on the epiphyseal lines of her humerus. This number coincides with the age of his wife, Queen Cleopatra, from the ancient sources. He explained that the remains in Tomb 2 were also not found to have an eye injury as previously believed. Tomb 1's remains could not definitely determine if there was an eye injury due to its deterioration. Philip II is known from ancient sources to have suffered an eye injury that blinded him. Bartsiokas said, according to Live Science, I was surprised to find the absence of such an eye injury in the male skeleton of Tomb 2, which was initially widely described as a real injury that identified Philip II. In other words, this was a case of a description of a morphologic feature that did not exist, and Alexander IV was determined by the study to be in Tomb 3. So this is really fascinating, you know. Somebody that was talked about in the book of Daniel, Alexander the Great, and his father and his remains being discovered in this tomb, which is different than where they thought that he was. All of these archaeological details are so fascinating to me, and especially when, you know, his kingdom was prophesied in the book of Daniel to be divided into 4, and that God gave Daniel the prophecy before it came to pass. It's truly fascinating stuff. So I just wanted to share this exciting news with you and let you know about this. I wonder what they'll do from here, you know, with the remains, if they'll just leave them be, or, you know, it would be very interesting, you know, how they take the facial features and now they can use digital reconstruction to create a face where the eyes blink and the mouth smiles and all of that. I don't know if you've seen those, but they have done Tiberius Caesar and Julius Caesar and Anne Boleyn, all of these various famous people, and it's truly fascinating to see what they would have looked like in our day. And they put modern clothes on them to show what they would look like now. So I just thought you would be interested in hearing about this. You know, it's really exciting. And they show the site of a palace of the ancient kingdom of Macedonia. So this is one more exciting thing in the news that I thought I'd share, and let's just see what they do from here with the archaeological discovery and the remains of Alexander the Great when they discover his bones, if they haven't already. And I can't wait to see what they do. So I'll talk to you in the next video. Shalom. Thank you for your support, and thank you for watching. God bless.